So the best way to get a girl's number is by giving her a strong and powerful reason to connect with you. This strong and powerful reason, there's two ways to do this. The first is by establishing commonality, and the second is by giving her an emotional high. When she gets that emotional high, she's going to have the desire to give you her number. So let's go ahead and explain this stuff in detail. What's going on, guys? My name is Assam from dopelifecoaching.com, and today I'm going to talk about how to get a girl's number the right way. So if it's your first time on this channel, man, and you want consistent updates on similar videos just like this, do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button and also hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single thing in the future. All right, guys. So I want you to think about this first from the girl's perspective. There is not a single girl who would want to willingly give you her number unless you give her a strong reason to do so. Sure, like many times, she may give you her number out of respect for you, so she doesn't disrespect or hurt your feelings, or just out of pity. That's not what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the ways to get her to actually want to give you her number. You can't just get a girl's number without making her want to give you her number, because likely if she gives you the number for the wrong reasons, you're probably going to text her and it's either going to be ignored, or when you call her, it's probably going to go straight to voicemail. So you don't want to lose. Now, in my opinion, there are two ways to do this. There are the ways which are on like dating apps or just social media in general. And there's also the in-person approach. So let's just dissect each of those. Let's first start with the dating app approach or the social media approach. Now, these have worked for me personally, so that's exactly why I'm going to suggest them. So, when you're on dating apps and you're talking to girls, they won't give you their number unless you give them a strong reason to, like I just said. Now, there's a specific way to do this. Think about it this way. The girl is getting attention from so many guys on these dating apps and just on social media in general, literally guys offering to marry her. Some creepy shit is happening all the time on her social media, on their dating apps, and she's probably on the verge of giving up. And like, I've heard this from almost every single woman on these dating apps. So what you want to do is to give her the desire for her to give her number to you, you want to establish commonality. For example, when you're reaching out and you say, hey or hi, while it sometimes can work, and I myself do that sometimes and I'm going to be completely honest. However, it's always best if you stand out at first because you don't want her to box you in the same category as every other guy. For example, when you're first reaching out to her and you carefully study her profile and you look at her pictures and you look at where she's been, what she's into, if she's a fitness fanatic, if she's a foodie, if she's a hopeless romantic, if she's, a yogi, like she's really into yoga, you talk to her about these things. Be like, hey, let's say her name is Jess. Hey, Jess, I like your smile a lot. It looks like you had a lot of fun in the Caribbeans. It looks like you had a lot of fun in Punta Cana, wherever. Tell me more about that. How awesome is your week going? That one sentence, although it's very slim, it's very powerful because you're igniting some of her positive emotions. You're talking about her travel. You're talking about how you like her smile. You're asking how awesome her week is going. So you're pre-suggesting the fact that her week is awesome and that you are a positive person. That's what she's going to suggest about you. When you do that, she's going to look at your message and she's going to be like, wow, this guy actually looked at my profile. He didn't just say I was attractive. He didn't just say I was sexy. He didn't just say I was cute, whatever. So after you do that, you want to establish some commonality, some rapport, just a couple messages back and forth. She's probably going to be like, oh, that was sweet of you. How awesome is your week going? My week is going this way. It's kind of busy. I have an exam coming up. I have a meeting coming up at work, whatever. How's yours going? And then you just talk about your week. It's going great. I'm trying to be productive. Today's a lazy day, but tomorrow's going to be productive. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. And then you talk to her about yourself a little bit. So tell me, what do you like to do for fun? Any cool things happening this weekend? And then she's going to tell you, and then you tell her, a couple messages back and forth. And then afterwards, when you see that she's receptive to your messages, I'm not going to have to tell you how to know that she's receptive to your messages because it's going to be pretty obvious. She's going to be sending you like smiley emojis. She's going to be enthusiastic. She's going to be responding to your messages with exclamation marks, lots of question marks if she's asking a question. All those things indicate that she's receptive to what you're saying. And if that's the case, just wait for a couple messages back and forth. I would say maybe a total of like 10 each, like 10 back and forths each, just to be on the safe side, not to come off as too eager to get her number. And then when you establish that, you're giving her a reason to want to give her number to you because she sees commonality. She sees that you're interesting. Again, think about it from her perspective. Why would she want to give her number to you? Why? What's different about you from the other guys? Why would she want to connect with you again? After speaking to you, does she really want to talk to you again? Ask yourself these questions. The good news is, if that is a yes, if you copy the method that I teach you, obviously not word for word or text for text, but you get creative with it, after getting her number, you can just call her right then and there. And she's probably not going to expect it. And then when you call her, that's when you want to build the emotional high. You can't really build it that much over text. Sure you can, but it's way harder to do that as opposed to on a phone call or actually in person. But when you're on a phone call with her, you get to tell whether she's laughing, whether she's smiling. You could just feel the vibe in her voice, her tonality, how quickly she's speaking, how slowly she's speaking, if she's excited or if she's just kind of boring and mellow. You get to tell those things. And then on the phone, you figure out your own creative way. This is going to come mostly by practice, not by me telling you, ask this question, do this specifically. After 2 minutes into the conversation, you ask her this question. No, it's kind of mechanical, and I don't condone, mechanical behavior. I just recommend behavior that is natural. And then after doing this a couple of times, even if it's with the same person, you're going to get good at it. And you're going to notice when there's an emotional high, like for example, you talked about something so similar. Let me give you an example. Me, for example. I am super into personal development. I am obsessed with personal development. I'm obsessed with content like meditation, authors like Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer. And if there's a girl who's interested in the same stuff, there's naturally going to be that spark. And then when she's interested in the same stuff, obviously this doesn't normally happen, but it has before. When she does, that's an emotional high for her. And it's an emotional high for me too. Once I'm at the emotional high, I get her number. Or if I'm on the phone call with her after getting her number and that emotional high is established, then I ask her out. I'm like, you know what? This sounds pretty cool. That sounds interesting. When are you free to meet? More than likely, after an emotional high, she's not going to say no. More than likely, she's either going to give you definite times in the week that she's free, or she's going to be like, you know what? This week is a crazy week. How about next week? Then you schedule something to meet in person. You see, man, you got to give her a reason to see you. What I just said there, those are reasons for her to see you. Another emotional high could be if you're making her laugh to death. That sometimes happens with me. I'm talking to a girl and then from the very beginning, I'm just joking around with her. I'm saying stupid stuff that doesn't make any sense. Stuff that if you heard, you're going to be like, how does this attract women? It attracts women because it's crazy. It's off cuff. It's unpredictable. It's funny. And it's not funny because it's funny. It's just funny because it's off cuff. It's unpredictable. It's out of nowhere. And they like that stuff. They don't like to guess exactly what's going to happen the next move. They don't like a guy just to be boring and being able to predict his every move. You want to stand out. So that's the dating app approach, which I assume most of you on here are going to lean more towards. And that's okay because it's, the in-person approach is not for everyone. At least it's not for everyone at first. However, I always do recommend the in-person approach. For example, if you're a college student and you're on campus, or if you're in some volleyball club, if you're in a yoga club, whatever it is, you get to see them in person. It's always more effective in person. It's not exactly for beginners at first, but I'll cover it anyways. So, in person, we're going to skip the commonality part. At least not skip. Let's just backtrack a bit. We don't have to establish as much commonality at first because the fact that you're seeing her in person, if it's in college, if it's through a mutual friend, there already kind of is commonality at first. If you have a girl you have a crush on in your college class, there's already some commonality there. She somehow feels safe with you because you're a college student. You're not just a creep on the streets. So if you talk to this girl, I'm not talking about how to approach her because that's different. There are other videos on my channel for that. But I'm talking about if you've already talked to her somehow. What you want to do the next time you talk to her is you want to go ahead and reach that emotional high. And if you're too afraid of doing this in person, which I understand, even though you've met her in person, you could still resort to the texting strategies and then talk to her from there. How awesome is your week going? And then she's going to get back to you. If she's really not showing you enthusiasm from the very beginning, just skip it all together and try this with a different girl whom you might see a connection with or you might be attracted to in the near future. Because at the end of the day, man, I don't want you trying to force something with a girl who really doesn't see the same thing with you, because that's just not healthy for you, and it just, devalues you and it makes you see yourself in a worse light. So that's just not good for you. But assuming she does, again, the same strategies. How awesome is your day going? Randomly, she was in your class and you talked to her a few times and you added her on social media. Hey, how are you? How awesome is your day going? And then wait for her response. She's gonna say this, and that happened, or this, and that is about to happen this week. Oh, nice. And then you talk about something interesting. How are you doing in this history class? What other classes are you taking? How's your semester going? And then after that, when she talks to you, joke around about it. If she's studying all the time, be like, oh my God, you probably have a 4.5 out of a 4.0. It's stupid, again, but just be funny. Try to not take yourself so seriously. Try to just say what comes to your mind. I've reached that point because I've done it so many times, but you should too. And then after that, again, when you see rapport and when you see that she is receptive to your messages, she's responding with enthusiasm, she's responding with a lot of emojis, she's responding with a lot of exclamation marks or question marks when she's asking you questions, then you could go ahead and hop on a phone call her right away, or if you're too shy, ask her when a good time would be for a phone call, and then you just take it from there. And then on the phone, you do the same thing that I said previously. Search for a means to reach that emotional high. Whether it's laughter, if you're not that funny, it could be something that you two really have in common, like music, like movies. For example, if she likes artists that you really like and she kind of likes the same type of music, that's an emotional high, for me at least. If someone likes the same type of music that I do and like my favorite songs, like my favorite 10 songs, I'm like, oh my God, that's one of my favorite songs. That's an emotional high right there. That's an excuse to go ahead and either hop on a phone call, or if we're on the phone, to ask when she's free to meet. It's really simple, guys. Don't wait for the perfect moment to happen. Don't wait for the perfect, opportunity to present itself, because guess what? Number one, that's a loser's mindset. Number two, there's no such thing as a perfect opportunity. There are always going to be obstacles, but guess what? When you keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles, no matter how many times you've failed in the past with women, it doesn't matter. You keep trying and you keep moving forward, you're eventually going to get the results you want, because you actually took the initiative instead of, being reactive to it. You're being proactive. And also, guys, just as a pro tip to the tips that I've just discussed, I would highly recommend doing what I did when I was 21 years old. When I was 21 years old, I developed the skill to be able to talk to any woman at any time and any place. No, it wasn't because I was God-given. No, it's not because I have some magical skill with women. However, it's just because I've done this. I put myself out there in the mall, in public, and I had a friend to hold me accountable, and I literally made it my mission to talk to about 100 girls, random strangers, approach them in the mall or in public in general over the course of the month. My skills with women skyrocketed ever since. Sure, I got a few numbers out of it. Sure, I've been on a few dates out of it, but that wasn't the point. The point of approaching all these women in the mall was to develop that skill, that muscle in your mind that screams, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about me, to be able to just go and do what I want, talk to a specific girl, and develop that skill set. After a couple of girls that I approached, I was just naturally confident. I wasn't thinking about what I'm going to say next. I wasn't thinking about what they would think of me. I wasn't thinking of, oh my God, is she going to like me? Sure, I kind of wanted to get their numbers, but that's kind of normal if you've only approached like 15 girls. But eventually, after approaching the 30th, the 40th, the 60th girl, it became second nature to me. And so that's why I recommend the in-person approach, but obviously it's not for everybody. And the good thing about it is you don't necessarily have to establish that much commonality. Rather, once it's at an emotional high, you take her out, or you take her number, or you ask her for a time when it's best to take her out. Because then she feels like she wants to give you her number, or she feels like she wants to go out with you. Remember, it's all about feeling. Her emotions are saying, I want to give this guy my number. So why would she hesitate? She probably wouldn't. She might hesitate, sure, a little bit if she doesn't feel too safe and she feels like you're kind of creepy, but that's okay. You could just take her number and then call her later and then establish some commonality, some rapport, and then take her out. But really, guys, it's not that difficult. The gist of the story is to be able to give the woman the desire for her to give you her number, and then you build it from there. Remember, you don't want to just take her number. You want her to want to give you her number. You want her to be like, you know what? I want to talk to this guy. You want her to be like, you know what? I missed the conversation that I had with this guy. This guy made me feel a certain type of way only in 10 minutes, after meeting him for 10 minutes, just as an example, of course. Remember, think about this. Think about it from the girl's perspective, not just your own. So that pretty much covers the video, guys. If you guys like the video, make sure you show your support by smashing that thumbs up button. And also, if you want consistent updates on similar content like this, do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button, and also hit the bell icon so you don't miss a single thing in the future. And also comment down in the comment section below for any suggestions you might have, and also how you like this video or how this video helped you. I'd be way more than happy to either implement those suggestions or to respond to your questions or to how you succeeded at this. Go to my website, www.dopelifecoaching.com. We still have free consultations for first timers, man, so make sure you take advantage of that offer. So that's about it, guys. Plain and simple. The way you get a girl's number is by giving her the desire to give you her number by either A, the commonality, or B, the emotional high. And I always recommend the emotional high. So that's about it, guys. Implement this and you're going to see drastic changes in your life very soon if you consistently do this for yourselves. All right, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.